Bugsy, I knew you were gonna go do this. Sakamoru, come on, man. These freaking... Some of these Sonic fans need to understand the basic principles of reviewing. Not my own review style, because that's my fucking thing. But this song is gonna tell them what they need to know. Alright. Hello everybody, my name is Bugsy John Kuro, and I'm about to tell you a little ditty that's been going on in my head, and you guys need to listen to me instead. So anyways, what I'm here to say is about freaking reviewing, and how do you review a game? Now let me make you understand and make it clear. This is some building blocks you have to know. First, build up your statements and make it sound like you. Then you gotta use your own experience, that's how you gotta do. And, if we're being real honest, don't use don't use your first impressions on trailers alone. You have to actually play them on your own. See, that's the one thing you all seem to not understand. But, you know, like I said to Twip, you think we're condescending for that? No. It's basic logic and rhetoric. Because how are any of you supposed to build up a proper case of any kind? How are you gonna get people sold on like wanting to get Sonic Mania or not wanting to get Sonic Mania if you're constantly in your own little bubble? You gotta set up the statements. You gotta make it sound like you. You gotta use your own experience. Using your own experience means you have to actually play the game. That's why I like all of us, you know, YouTube video game reviewers, because we use our own experiences and we use our own knowledge for these games, you know, to review these games. We don't review it off trailers alone. Arlo doesn't do that. I don't do that. Heck, Johnny suffered through Sonic Boom to review it. Get that man a fucking medal. That. So, yes, I'm talking about Twip one more time. But you all need to understand, this isn't about This is not about a person being condescending. It's not about all of us fans trying to just persuade you to think otherwise because we're the right ones. No, we're just trying to tell you to listen to reason instead of just thinking that we're just trying to fuck with you. You have. Guys, I've taken a lot of logic and rhetoric classes. You gotta build up your case. And let me be truly fucking honest with you, Twip. You didn't really build up your case. Every time I think about it, and people, I'm gonna use this as an example. This man basically said bad level design, good story for forces, and he doesn't like the gimmick. Mania, he likes everything about it. And you see the problem? Not only is he not building his case on why, it's because he built these little statements on footage he saw at E3. Footage that isn't even done. Footage that isn't even indicative of the actual game. And that's why I'm truly mad at this dude. You know, playing a Remy is just kind of like, I don't know, like every time I freaking make a video, I see this man just, nerd word, oh yes, nerd word, or oh yes, Twip, and I'm just like, but he's another story for another day. I'll tackle him another day. With And nerd word I've already tackled. If he says anything else, I'll probably go. If he says anything else, I'll probably make a video about it. Because I said I was gonna stop. I said I was gonna be done, but nah. I can't. I can't shut up, and I won't shut up about it. Because at the end of the day, you're doing yourself and the people who actually subscribe to you for some people that subscribe for Twip's opinion and just the call got dropped from Skype. My girlfriend's call got dropped. Boy. Anyways, god dang, Skype's a piece of shit. I gotta say. Anyways, you're all not looking at this the right way. Do you think? You think I, Bugsy Kuro, the angry video game nerd, the angry video game nerd? No, I'm not the angry video game nerd, but the angry video game nerd. Freaking some call me Johnny. Brain scratch commentary. Any of the other bigger name gaming channels out there? You think we all just looked at trailers or the first gameplay of a game and just said, yes, it looks good, or yes, it looks bad? No! We played them. Think about Angry Joe. He, you can say what you want about him, and I can say what I want about him too. But the man plays the games before he reviews them. That's the one thing you all have to realize. We're not trying to fuck with you. We're not trying to hurt you. We're just trying to show you that judging it on footage is not the way to go. And if you think it's so ass backwards, people, if you think it's so ass backwards, well, I can't do nothing for you. But I feel like if you are supposed to be some sort of a reviewer, or a connoisseur of Sonic, or a connoisseur of video games, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because, and no one's really going to come to your review because you're going to be like, it's going to be like, you already talked about it. There's nothing more you want to say about it. You just want to say it because, da-da-da-da. Now, Nintendo Life, on the other hand, this man is a contradiction within himself. But that's mostly his opinion, even though we all disagree with it, and he's just doesn't really... See, that's the thing. Some of us that were Sonic fans from the classic era to nowadays, we stuck on with the blue glare. We kept going. We never stopped. Even when our friends and our closest bosom buddies left, we kept going. We kept doing our thing. We kept fighting. And Twip, I feel the way you've been conducting yourself with Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces in your little compare and contrast video is downright shameful. Because you actually have to play the game. It's not an opinion. I mean, it's an opinion, but it's not a truly finished opinion, I should say. You're only looking at things from the surface value. Now, I said this while I was angry, but I'm talking to you with a calm mind, a calm head, and I just want you to listen. And no condescending remarks in my comments. No freaking quippy, sarcastic remarks in my comments. Listen. Okay? You listening? That's only half of your opinion because you're only judging it on what you're seeing. Me personally, I love Yoshi's Island because I played it, I had fun with it, I enjoyed it. I didn't look at gameplay and say, "Oh, I like it automatically." Well, let me talk to let me talk about an example of a game I hate. And that would be, what was that clown bombing game? No, not that. Not that. Like, I sorta don't. I sorta don't like. I sorta don't like the first Dragon Warrior, because I don't like I don't like grinding all. I don't like excessive amounts of grinding unless it really has a point. And old RPGs are so slow. And, I said I didn't like it because I had my reasons, and I couldn't have gotten those reasons if I didn't play it. I love all the Tiny Toons games because they're fun and and they vary depending on what game you're playing. I didn't, I got that opinion because I played every single one and I know how different they all are. Again, by judging these games on their trailers alone, you're doing what my dad and basically some of my friends say. You're basically, and they said this because I told them about your little videos and escapades, and I know that doesn't really mean much to you. But they all said to me that you're basically half-assing it because you're not trying to give these games an actual review. You're just trying to compare what you've already seen. And you could have said, I'm only comparing what I've already seen. And then I'll do a full review when they both come out. But you didn't do that because your judgment with Sonic Forces has already been set in stone. Now, if you play Sonic Forces and you hate it, then I'll leave you alone. If you play Sonic Forces and like it, I'll leave you alone. Either way. But you have to play it. You can't just be like, and I'm not trying to make this overly serious and overly complicated, but when I really started to look at it with a clear head and me not swearing like a fucking sailor with his nuts cut off, I really started to see your arguments that you've been giving people in your comments. They're flimsy at best. Because really, you're just mad. You're truly mad because people are telling you that you're wrong. That's all it was. And with all these people that are rallying behind you, and that one person saying, they had no excuse, they had 4 years. And I'll get to that in a minute. But this whole video. Okay, hold up.
So I'm sure by now you've all seen the Nintendo Live video of Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces. And you know what? It wasn't that bad.
Now listen. Doubt you even looked at my response. But here. See, that's the thing. Yeah, I did go a little nuts and disliked your comment. But basically, these people are supporting your your freaking, your mindset. And because people are basically supporting you, you're not really seeing what you're doing wrong. Because when you have a safety net, why bother to do what you're supposed to do when stuff like this arises? But really, all I see with this video is you being mad that we're all telling you to just play the game before it comes out. We're trying. I'm trying to be really 1% honest with you without you actually losing your shit. And seriously, it because I would actually like to talk to you, Twip. Like, seriously. Because you and I should have a debate. Because honestly, you need to understand something. When you actually have these little threads, these little bits of anger, and they don't really tie up to anything. And trust me, I'm a rage dude, and that video is just me just angry. And I'm trying to be a lot more calmer because fuck man, I'm sort of almost getting too old for this shit. I shouldn't be raging out like a fucking beast all the time. But you need to understand this. You're mad. This whole video is just you being angry at the Sonic fan base because they're telling you to just play the game and then say you hate it. Save your judgment until you actually play the game. Now, no one's forcing you to, but if you're gonna judge Sonic Forces, you should play it instead of just thinking that we're all trying to fuck with you. Now, for the rest of you that don't understand what the second topic I'm about to talk about is, I'm about to say it. So hold up. They have no excuse. This game is a project 4 years after. This project was in 4 years on development on Forces. Well, that's fine, but that's no excuse to tell you people that they're wrong. Exactly. But no problem. But the point is, the case of the two types of design games, it's fans experiencing them in different ways that can be more critical. Blind devotion or analysis, but like Ralph Flaunt's once. Wait a minute, I didn't mean to do that. Stop before you say something. Yeah. See, and even people are debunking you, but I want to talk about the one thing. Dudes, I'm a man who has worked on his own games, and even some of his own little prototypes that never really went anywhere because they, at the last minute, when I thought I got everything together, there was one string of code that didn't work, or part of a physics-based puzzle that broke the whole game, literally. And you can work on these things for months, years, and still your problems will crop up. Sega's willing to take their time with this. They could have easily pushed this out last year. They could have pushed out Forces last year and everything. But they want to try and get our trust back. I know you guys want to be like, well, there's no excuse. Well, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's the real thing. None of you have worked on video games. You guys don't know how hard it is. I do because because I worked on my RPG Maker and a few other little things that I'm never gonna say because I don't know if I'm still gonna work on them or not. Because that being a dev. I hate saying that because I feel like I'm not really a dev per se, but being again, I can't say that word. I can't associate myself as a game dev. But being a guy who creates games, I know shit can turn on a dime. You could be working on something diligently and hard, you know, diligently. You're working hard. You're trying to make sure everything is correct. But sometimes there's this one little error or this one little thing that stops the game dead in its tracks. You know? It's like, I mean, I'm not saying, oh, I know because I pull rank over you. But do any of you really know the labor on these people making these games? How many tireless hours? How many sleepless nights? How many times people probably either quit or thought of quitting? Or here's a good example. Here's a good example. They delayed Twilight Princess back. They delayed the Wii version of Twilight Princess because stuff was wrong with it. Or if we want to get a more closer thing, they delayed Sonic Mania from summer to spring to summer because they still had a lot of work to do and like a lot of things weren't done yet. It's hard to make games sometimes because things will happen. Setbacks will always happen. I don't care who you are or what you think, or you think you have a better grip of game development game development than me or anybody else who's ever made a game. But the people you can talk to and the people I've talked to that make their own games for people and have some people that I've talked to have these big, massive teams. They'll tell you it's hard. It's hard work. You know? You can't just press a button and the game is just perfect. There are going to be imperfections. There are going to be there are going to be things wrong with it. You know? And you have to think about that. Yes, Forces development was in development for 4 years. It's true, but still, that's why they're trying to work on it the best of their abilities. And some of you were even just tripping about the older builds too, like Sonic's movement and stuff doesn't feel right. How do you all know if you're looking at footage? Personally, I just sit here saying I wasn't gonna do this, but you all just you goat me into this. Like I feel like you guys is some of you guys' stupidity is mostly Twip and Nerd Word and to a lesser extent playing the Remy. Y'all just goat me into that because it's like I feel like you guys just want to hate Forces for the sake of hating Forces, but you rather judge it on what it is on the surface instead of actually playing it when it's fully done, polished, and we got like one little patch to go with it. And then when all that is done, play it and then judge it. Because old Papa Bugsy will do his best to review it the way I'll do my best to review it. Sorry, I was talking in third person, but it just didn't feel right. Anyways, I'll do my best to basically try and give you guys a good a Bugsy game review no matter come hell or high water. But don't think I'm gonna kiss these games. Don't think I'm gonna kiss Mania's ass if I deem it not that good. You know, or don't think I'm gonna freaking out. Don't think that, and don't think I'm gonna outright love or hate Forces. Again, these two are mysteries because I haven't played them yet. I can't really have a really informed opinion unless I play them, unless I experience them. Look at it another way. It's like, you see, it's like if you see a person's memories. Like, you're able to see this person's memories. You're able to, like, you're in first person mode, you're seeing this person's memory. Like, you could say that the memory is okay, but you can say that because you're not the one experiencing it. The person that experienced it could have felt a whole number of things. Sadness, pain, happiness. A whole bunch of different emotions. But you look at it and say, oh, it's a good memory. But the person that will probably sit next to you will say, that was a good memory, or this was bad, this was good, that was bad. You're judging things on a surface value instead of judging these games for what they are. But I feel like the whole thing is asinine because you're judging them solely on what you see and not how they play. To you, not to Mr. Demo Joe that's playing the game. You're seeing it on a screen. Not to Mania Girl 965 that went to E3 just to play Sonic Mania. You had to experience it. That's the part of being a video game reviewer. That so many other reviewers, so many other freaking corporate ones forget. They got no heart. IGN basically has people writing reviews for them. And some of the people who actually say they play them don't even play them. You all need to think. You all need to actually think. Twip, you seem like Blaine Remy and where y'all seem like good dudes. I ain't gonna hate on you because of your character. I'm not gonna just kiss your ass like all these people in these comments and say what you're saying is right, because it's not. Nerdware got too emotional. Nerdware gets way too emotional. You really do, Nerdware. You really got way too freaking emotional. Player Remy won't just stop and enjoy a Sonic game and stop worrying about Dreamcast Sonic. And Ben, you're the, Twip or Ben on Twitter, you're the worst of them all, because at least you get a sense that Polemi and Nerdword are going to play it. You on the other hand are just calling it quits before it even starts. Your opinion of a game can change, especially when it comes out. But rather than you actually thinking about this, you rather just sit there and call us condescending when we're just trying to tell you you're not really seeing it. You're only seeing it on a surface level. I ain't telling you how to review games, but I am telling you that's not the way you do it. You don't just look at 5 or 6 minutes of gameplay and say done. You actually have to experience it. So if you think we're all just being assholes to you, well, we're being. If we're all being assholes to you, well, I guess we're all being assholes to you. And I'm being calm in this video. But, you know, I might even change my URL to my video and switch it out with this one because you need to understand. You need to understand, Twip. You know? The nerd word, I'm not saying don't be emotional. I'm just saying don't get too emotional over a game that hasn't come out yet. You don't know how you're going to feel about it. And Polemi to Remy, I got nothing. I got nothing. But you understand my point. And if you don't, well, I just spent like half an hour just babbling like an idiot. But that's all I have, I guess. My point rests. And really, you shouldn't want these people to just disagree with everything you say because you're right. You should want them to actually discuss stuff with you instead of just shooting them down. That's what you did here. You shot them down. You shot all of them down. And for what? Because everybody just disagrees with you. Well, Bucky boy, everybody's gonna disagree with you and call you this and that, but you think but you all think that we're all trying to freaking pull you down. We're not. Twip, please, just consider what I say. And if you don't, well, that's on you. Me, on the other hand, I am actually gonna stop after this because my fans know I do things my way. I really do. And I know you're gonna do things your way, but at the end of the day, that's not, again, looking at two trailers and giving your thoughts on both of them and slapping them and saying this is why this game's gonna be better. You don't really know that for sure until you actually play the games. Think, Twip. You actually have to use that mind and think. You gotta use actual common sense and actual logic. Because what sense does looking at trailers do you? What sense? Explain that to me. Make another video and explain that to me. Make me understand. Because this was just you bitching. Come at me with a calm mind and an open one. If not that, again, don't know what I can do for you. I'm Bugsy, and you all know I have my way of doing things. And yeah, maybe a little chaotic, but it's a way on my own. Well, I'll see you later, kitties. And I will call you all kitties for this whole reason. Not for me being condescending, but because through all this whole Sonic thing, some of you have acted like actual kids. When the other Sonic YouTubers and myself have acted like actual adults and not tried to, well, I tried not to go completely bonkers, but that happened. But, with me, it's more of a work in progress. Rome wasn't built in a day, and yada yada yada. But that's all I really have. Well, kids, ladies, gentlemen, this is your old pal. This is your old pal and chaotic YouTuber himself, Bugsy John Kuro, and I'll see you later. Right now, since I've been talking about Sonic Mania, there's a game that I'm creating that needs my attention. So I must depart. And I bid you all a fond adieu. 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 Well, goodbye. God dang it, I can't do... And I can't do... Man, I can't say French words to save my fucking life. Anyways, see you later.